You're a horrible daughter. My mom's voice thundered through the phone, slicing through the quiet of my apartment. I froze, my fingers tightening around the phone. What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about, she snapped. After all I've done for you, you couldn't even upgrade me to first class for this trip. What kind of child does that to their mother? I took a deep breath, gripping the counter for stability. Mom, I paid for your entire trip, I said evenly, trying to keep my voice steady. The flights, the hotel, the tours. Do you even realize how much time and effort I put into planning this? She scoffed. And yet, you couldn't do one small thing to make it special. Honestly, Kristen, I don't know what's wrong with you. Your sister would have done it without a second thought. My name is Kristen, and for as long as I can remember, my mom has made me feel like I'm never enough. Growing up, I was the responsible Juan de Estrada student, the one who built a stable career in marketing, the one who saved diligently for my future. My sister, Danielle, was the golden childworm, charming, effortlessly adored. This trip to Europe wasn't just a vacation for my mom. It was my way of saying, look, Mom, I care about you. I hoped it might bridge the gap between us, prove I wasn't the selfish, ungrateful person she often implied I was. It had taken me years of saving every spare penny, skipping vacations, live in frugally, make it happen. Flights, upscale hotels, guided tours, even tickets to cultural performances she had always dreamed of. It was all planned to perfection. But now none of that seemed to matter. All she cared about was the fact that her seat wasn't in first class. Mom, I said carefully, forcing calm into my voice, I thought you'd be happy. It's a beautiful itinerary. You're going to have an amazing time. Not in coach, I won't, she spat. Her words stung, but I refused to let her see it. Well, I hope you enjoy the trip anyway, I said, ending the call before my own temper took over. Later that day, when I pulled up to the airport to drop her off, her parting words cut like glass. Maybe if you ever grow up, you'll figure out how to treat people properly, she said, striding into the terminal without even glancing back. Driving home, her voice replayed in my head sharp, cutting. By the time I parked, something inside me had shifted. If she thought I was a horrible daughter, maybe it was time for her to truly understand how wrong she was. Inside my apartment, I dropped my bag by the door and sank onto the couch, staring at the wall. I swallowed hard, refusing to cry. I had worked too hard to make this trip perfect. Years of skipped vacations, declining nights out, and extra work had gone into this. I wanted her to experience the world beyond her small, predictable routine. Instead, she'd called me selfish, embarrassed me, and walked away without a word of thanks. But this wasn't new. She'd always found a way to turn my successes into reminders of my shortcomings. Aced a test. Why wasn't it perfect? Got a promotion. Danielle could have done it faster. Danielle, the golden child who didn't have a steady job, didn't contribute financially, but could do no wrong. But this trip was supposed to be different. Instead, it was just another chance for her to belittle me. I opened my laptop and pulled up the confirmation email for her flights due. Economy, tickets, round trip, comfortable, affordable, chosen with care. For a moment, I thought about canceling the entire trip, but the hotel and tours were non-refundable. Then my eyes landed on the return flight. A small blue button read, manage booking. Canceling just the return wouldn't te coste-me a dime. She'd still have her dream trip, but when it came time to come home, she'd be on her own. I hesitated, finger hovering over the mouse. Was this too much? Too cruel? Her voice echoed again in my mind. You're selfish. Embarrassing. The hesitation vanished. One click and a confirmation email landed in my inbox. Her return flight was officially canceled. For the first time in years, I felt a flicker of control. Asterisk, the next few days passed in a blur, though I was constantly reminded of the trip I had poured so much time into planning. My mom never called after landing, not that I expected her to. Instead, she flooded her social media with updates about her incredible European adventure. Her first post showed her grinning in front of the Paris airport, captioned, "Living the dream," and tagging half her friends list. I rolled my eyes and set my phone down. More photos followed, shots of the elegant hotel lobby, cobblestone streets, gourmet meals she clearly photographed before taking a single bite. Her captions oozed gratitude, but I knew better. After that first post, she didn't tag me again. The tone in her captions carried a smug undercurrent only I could detect. Part of me wanted to call her out, publicly crediting me while privately calling me selfish, but I stayed silent. Let her have her moment, I thought, because I knew her real moment was coming. By the fourth day, she'd posted a video from a luxury dinner cruise, champagne in hand, smiling at the camera. Truly, the trip of a lifetime, she said. By now, I wasn't checking her updates for curiosity's sake. I was waiting. Every post felt like a puzzle piece falling into place. She had no idea what awaited her. I found myself wondering, would she think it was an airline mistake? Would she scream at the staff? Would she try to guilt trip me the second she found out? Either way, it didn't matter. She'd have to deal with it herself the night before her scheduled return. My phone buzzed with a text from Danielle. Mom's been texting me nonstop about how amazing the trip is. She said you helped her with it. I stared at the message, debating whether to respond. Danielle didn't know about the canceled return flight or about the years of biting comments and constant criticism that led to it. Glad she's enjoying herself. I finally typed back, and it wasn't exactly a lie. I was glad she was enjoying her trip. But what I was really waiting for was the reckoning that would greet her at the airport. For once, she was going to feel the weight of her entitlement. The morning of her return flight, I carried an odd mix of nerves and anticipation. Around noon, my phone lit up her name on the screen. I took a deep breath and answered, "Hi, Mom." "Kristen?" she hissed, her voice sharp with panic. "Why is my flight canceled?" I almost smiled at how fast she got to the point. "What do you mean?" I asked, feigning confusion. "You know what I mean?" She snapped. "I just tried to check in, and they told me my ticket's been canceled." "What's going on? Ota?" I said casually. "Yeah, I canceled it." Her sharp inhale was almost satisfying. "You canceled it? Why would you do that?" "Because, Mom," I began, my voice measured. "I wanted you to understand what it feels like to be left hanging. After all, you made it pretty clear how you see me as a daughter." "What are you talking about?" she demanded, her voice softening just slightly. "You called me a horrible daughter," I reminded her. "After everything I did years of saving for this trip, planning every detail so you'd have a great time. Instead of saying thank you, You insulted me. There was a long pause. Then, an exasperated sigh. Kristen, you're overreacting. You know, I didn't mean it like that. You didn't mean it. My voice tightened. You said it, and you've been saying things like that my entire life. I've always bent over backward to make you happy, and all you ever do is criticize me. So, no, I'm not overreacting. I'm done. Done. She echoed, her voice rising again. What does that mean? Are you just going to leave me stranded here? You're not stranded, I said evenly. You can book another flight. Or maybe Danielle can help. Either way, it's not my problem anymore. Her tone shifted, quick as a snap, from anger to desperation. Kristen, please? I don't have the money for another ticket. I can't believe you'd do this to me. I'm your mother. I let her words hang in the air before replying, figure it out, Mom. You've always told me to grow up and take responsibility for myself. Now it's your turn. Before she could answer, I ended the call. My heart pounded, but underneath it all was a quiet, steady satisfaction. I wasn't bending to her will anymore. The calls and messages started pouring in not long after I hung up. Kristen, you can't just leave me here like this. One voicemail shouted, Do you know how humiliating this is? I'm at the airport trying to explain to the staff why my flight doesn't exist, and they're looking at me like I've lost my mind. Another message came, her tone more whiny than angry. How could you do this to me? What would people think if they knew you abandoned your own mother in Europe? I stared at my phone, unmoved. Every text and voicemail felt like an attempt to claw back control, but they didn't carry the same power they used to dot by afternoon. Her tone began shifting again. The calls were fewer, the texts more pleading. Kristen, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it. Please, just help me get home. Do you want me to beg? Fine, I'm begging. I can't afford another ticket, and I don't know what to do. I read them carefully, trying to decide if this was real remorse or just another attempt at manipulation. Years of emotional tug-of-war had taught me not to take her words at face value. A small part of me felt guilty. She was my mother, after all. She had raised me, supported me in her own flawed ways. Did she really deserve this? But then I remembered her parting words at the airport. Maybe if you ever grow up, you'll figure out how to treat people properly. The guilt faded. By evening, her desperation peaked. Kristen, I'm sleeping on a bench at the airport. I have no way to get home, and I can't stay here. Please, I'm begging you. For a moment, I almost reached for the phone. But then I reminded myself this wasn't just about a canceled flight. This was about years of belittling, of being made to feel small no matter how much I gave. If I let her off the hook now, nothing would change. Instead, I texted Danielle, Mom's having trouble getting home. If you want to help her, feel free. I'm done. Danielle called almost immediately, sounding both annoyed and worried. Kristen, what's going on? Mom says you canceled her ticket. I did, I said calmly. She called me a horrible daughter after I paid for the entire trip. I'm done bending over backward for her. She can figure this out herself. Danielle sighed. I get it, but don't you think this is a little much? No, I replied firmly. It's exactly enough. The next morning, my phone was quiet. No calls, no texts, I wondered if she had figured something out or if Danielle had stepped in. Either way, I wasn't going to be the one checking. But just before lunch, my phone buzzed again. Kristen, the message read, "I don't know what else to say. I know I've hurt you, and I know I've been unfair. I just want to come home. Please." It was the most genuine thing she'd written in years. I sat there, torn between relief and skepticism. Was this real? Or just another temporary promise? Then I remembered this wasn't about trusting her, it was about me. I typed back, "Mom, I'll book you a flight home, but this is the last time. If you can't start treating me with respect, don't expect me to keep doing things like this for you." You. Her reply was almost instant. "Thank you. I'll do better." I promise. I wasn't sure I believed her, but I booked the ticket anyway, not for her, but for myself. I needed to close this chapter on my terms. When I sent her the flight details, her gratitude was immediate. "Thank you so much, Kristen. I mean it this time." For once, I had stood my ground. I'd set the boundaries I should have set years ago. Asterisk. And though I told myself that maybe this was just her way of processing things, deep down, I knew it wasn't confusion. It was intentional. It was her way of making sure my father never saw me as the capable, independent woman I had fought to become, but rather as the fragile, irresponsible daughter who still needed saving.